Welcome back to Beyond the First Response. It's Christy Lister.
Miss Ciara Julie Madrid.
Hey, Ciara, how are you?
Good. Sorry, my nose is itchy now.
That's okay. We were having some fun that maybe we're going to actually bring that into our conversation today. First, so everybody knows, Ciara survived a earthquake earlier today. She almost did not survive a piece of candy, though.
And it was all on video.
It was no, I wasn't recording yet.
Oh, well, it was here where you saw it.
Yes. So when you're recording across country, make sure you know your passwords. Make sure that if you don't know your password, you have warm fingers to get into your phone to call 911.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
I'd say,
otherwise,
she lives here, I think.
and the show must go on.
Oh,
Now,
I would have
see,
just laid here with my headphones on, like, okay.
if you were to eat your candy like I do, then you wouldn't choke on it.
But you're not just supposed to chew candy.
It's got a soft middle. You got to get there somehow.
You suck on it.
I don't like to suck on it.
Well, these are personal preferences. No, but if it's, I mean, you have to, this is where you slow down, you take your patience and put it into the way you eat something, and then you can enjoy it longer.
Oh, that's what I'm going to say. However, one of the important things is obviously finding ways to laugh. And now I will never be able to look at another piece of candy again, or a sucker, or a popsicle.
You'll just eat it the right way now.
Yeah, I'll keep chewing. I like to bite it.
I won't do anything with my hands.
Do you know what misanthropy is? Misanthrope.
Well, I mean, it could be a little bit of you and me and our kids and a lot of people I know nowadays, I think.
Yeah, it really is not just in the first responder world, although we see it more often in our homes in the first responder world and the first responders that we know. It is avoidance of social gatherings, feeling disdain towards other people, feel superior to other people, disengage from human emotion, and perhaps even completely socially isolate.
Yeah.
What I,
hatred, dislike,
yeah,
or distrust of the human species.
just done with the world, just done with the BS of what goes on outside your four walls.
Yeah. And I can understand that to an extent, right? Especially
Right.
the world we live in nowadays.
Right. But it's not a mental disorder. So everybody knows it's a negative mindset brought on by the negative and the constant berating of what you have to deal with on a daily basis. Now, with that being said, watching you come home, you don't necessarily portray that, although you do in some words portray that, but you don't have to verbalize it for your kids to
feel it
and take it as theirs and become quickly disliking the world and not believing anything that's going on in the outside world. And that, we always talk about social media being that short term little bits of things. That's what they see. That's happening at home too. They're seeing that the world is negative and the world is a bunch of BS and there's no positive, and they carry that. And it can be changed. There's a lot of crappy things going on in the world right now. And that's what really brought my thought on this up this week is just how do you change that? Because we're all humans. Yeah, true. True. Lose the electricity, then nobody knows what's going on.
Right. But I do think because I've noticed all not like human beings. And I say that in a broad spectrum, right?
Right.
And I'll get off social media because I am a comments reader, like 100%. I love to read comments. But when you do, though, you don't realize like how just ugly people are now, how mean and ugly they are. So it literally makes you go, ugh, like this
Yeah.
is ridiculous. I don't, and it's hard to stop and go, they're just behind a keyboard being keyboard warriors, because sometimes what they say is this or this or this or this. I mean, I'm going to use an example kind of like we were talking. I just sat and read comments for Chick-fil-A being named one of the best drive-throughs because they have the most personable people on their drive-throughs, you know. And the comments are utterly disgusting. Like, oh, we don't like them because they believe in religion. We don't like their chicken because it's religious. Like, that's dumb. It really is.
It is.
It's dumb, because in our world nowadays, it's you have to believe this way, and if you don't believe this way, you're wrong. And it's both sides. It's all sides. It's all 8 sides, and I know there's probably more than that. I don't even know. Like, I try to stay out of that.
Yeah.
But when you stop and you stop that mindset of that, you see the world differently and you go, well, they're just humans and that's their beliefs. They're allowed to have their beliefs, just like I have my beliefs. And then you turn all that negativity off, and then you don't dislike someone or someone's or some groups of someone's just because what they believe in.
Right.
And it opens your mind up to a lot of other things.
And you can learn things from other people that don't have the same opinion as you.
Yeah.
There's
Absolutely.
values in things that you don't agree with. There's
Oh, yeah.
values in everything. But when we take on their emotions, and you're quick to, especially when you are misanthrope, you're quick to react in I just hate it all mindset. But the problem with that, then it's eating all that positive that you have in you away. And it's causing you to isolate, have disdain, and even worse, not even worse, but as bad, remove your emotions.
Yeah.
And our kids are doing that. And, or they are arguing with you because they don't understand your view.
Right.
They don't even want to hear your opinion on something because they automatically assume what you're saying is a negative thing. And we have to figure out a way to change that, because it doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, you're valued. And without changing that mindset, we won't ever see that. We'll continue to be down that negative road, which then we feel we are failing ourselves, our kids. We're watching our kids think that they're failing themselves. Things like that just, it's that spiral of negative
domino effect.
Yes. It is. It is. But positive is never a domino effect. Have you ever noticed that?
I mean, it can be because, but it's not as fast as the negative.
Yeah.
So if you live in a positive mindset and it's in your house, like if you say, okay, everybody is in a negative mindset in my house. We'll say my house, for example, me, Ryan, Danica, everyone's in a negative mindset. It'll even affect the dogs. Like it even trickles down to them. It'll affect them. It'll affect how they are. But when you turn and you start positivity and you start bringing it in, because I went through this, like I went through very angry hatred, rah, like after Matt died. But I've noticed, like, since we try to like really get in the positive mindset, I mean, trust, there's still days where it's like negative, negative, negative. But then I can physically see now, like, oh, it has affected Danica. She doesn't want to be out here. She doesn't want to have anything to do with us if we're just negative, or vice versa. Like, and I'll tell her, you're go be negative in your room. Like, you have to think positive, because I'm a person of manifesting. Like, if you manifest what you believe in. So if you're just going to sit and stew on the negative, you're going to stew in a pot of negative in your house.
Yes.
And then everybody coming in is going to be in that pot and you're going to stew it. and you're just going to sit there and stir and stir and stir. But when you start throwing positivity in there, it changes the direction, and it's not immediate, because negativity will be like, boom, everybody is affected immediately. Positivity, like, it changes everybody too. And sometimes positivity isn't exactly like how you see it. Like I use sarcasm a lot. I don't know if you know this, but
Oh,
whatever. So, and I was in a group text, for example, today, like a group text today, and I was being sarcastic, and somebody was getting a little upset about it, like seeing it in the negative light instead of a sarcastic light. And then when they realize, they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Like their tone changed. Like, she's just being funny, because I was being funny about um about the earthquake and Californians. And just because it was a joke. And I said, it's Ryan's fault. And then, because he's from California and he grew up with earthquakes. I mean, I grew up with earthquakes
brought
too,
that
but not
earthquake
like,
here.
yeah. And they were like, you should apologize for saying that. And I'm like, no, like, he needs to fix the earthquakes.
He
But
needs to
then
stop shaking my world.
I know, but then she realized that I was being a sarcastic person. So I was like having fun, and it wasn't this negative talk as she was portraying it. And it changed the whole group text message thing too, because you can feel emotions in text. I mean, you can and you can't, right?
It's funny that you say that because you can. Do you read text in the other person's voice?
Um, no, I read them in my voice.
I totally hear them, and like when I'm reading your texts, I'm totally hearing it in your voice. So
That's fun.
it's my, my superpower.
Just like your superpower this morning, I'm working out and all of a sudden I just get crying, laughing emojis out of nowhere. And I'm like,
I don't know
it's,
why that link didn't go. I know. I'm like, oh, it's 5:15 there.
she's at the gym. Let me just send her a crying, laughing emoji. I like look at it and I'm like, is she drinking already? Like,
Coffee.
what the heck? But
My
it was,
my my in my defense, those links did not go through on your text. You did later see them because I did put it on your Instagram. I DM'd you. I slid in.
it slid into my DM.
I slid in. Totally.
But to that, yes, you can, because like just that right there, like, even though it was 5:15 in the morning, like, it immediately put a happiness into my life. Like, I'm like, oh my God, Christy is across the country just laughing right now about something. God knows what. But
I
she's
can just
happy.
now I just picture you there going, is she here?
Is she watch? Did she just watch me? Like, oh my
Like,
gosh.
oh,
I know these look horrible on me, but they were clean.
I'm sorry, they're inside out. I didn't feel like changing them.
Oh man. But that's like, because you always know to, like, even we'll go back to like when I've said I have examples of when I'm having a bad day, like I'll text Ryan and it's like he doesn't sometimes respond, probably because he's like, well, I'm not touching that right now. Because I could tell by the tone of that text that, well, I'm not dealing with that,
Does
because he
that
doesn't want to
upset you
change
though?
him.
Does that
No.
upset you that if he's not responding, it's not weighing on you? Like, look, I reached out and you're not responding.
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm. And I don't know why. Maybe just because maybe some of that is just like the past. Like Matt couldn't always respond, obviously.
Yeah.
And then like Danica's dad was terrible at responding. So it's just like, I don't know, it doesn't bother me. Like, if it was like I text him and then I text him again and then I text him again and he doesn't respond, then I'm like, okay, let me call you and see what's going on.
Now we're gonna
Let
have a
me
talk.
let me track you and make sure you're not in the middle of a lake right now, and then I'll call you and see if you're good or if we're good or like what's
And
going
then I will
on.
drown you in that lake. I'm just kidding.
Let me go see if you're at the bar avoiding me right now. But no, like, it doesn't bother me, because I understand, and I'm not saying that you don't, but like in general, like an umbrella, like I understand if my text might come across like I'm bitchy or I'm, whatever right now, and somebody doesn't want to deal with that. Like, I'm not gonna.
True.
Do you know
And
what I mean?
Did it make you feel, does it make you feel better like texting that, just getting it off your chest,
Oh
process
yeah.
in that way?
Hmm.
Now,
Like,
you don't have to be a fixer too. So Ryan's not a fixer. And there's that time to respond or just sit in silence. But it's really hard on a text to sit in silence.
have you not met me? Like,
I
really
know.
met me?
Yeah, I know. I was actually surprised that you responded this morning. With a clear purpose. Now I understand that you had no idea what I was laughing about.
Well, and I was good. Like, I was at the gym and the music was blasting. I did try to talk through my watch, like, is it WTF? But it didn't work.
It's so funny.
I was doing avoidance behavior at the gym because we were running a lot this morning, and I was like, I
No, I never run. I don't like running. Just my mouth. I like running my mouth.
no, I don't know what you're talking
Never,
about. I
never.
have no idea what you're talking about.
So I was trying to send you those texts or those clips while I was in the middle of a work meeting. I'm like, I gotta turn it down. They
They were bad people. If you want them, just write me and I'll send them to you. But I've also shared them already with some people. So
I've saved it in my reels, so they're forever on my phone.
they're amazing.
Just see, okay, so avoiding avoiding being negative.
Hmm.
Find something to laugh about.
Hmm.
It's the world is too short to not do that.
Yeah.
And I think so. I've been doing a lot of research on emotional intelligence this week. It's an IQ, your emotional intelligence IQ. It's a leadership thing I'm working on. You can change your IQ. Like you can change your mindset. You can give yourself more knowledge. You can change that emotional IQ. And it's really resiliency. It's making that intent of being grateful every day, making that intent of taking a walk.
Finding the positive.
Yes, finding the positive in a negative. And you can have a strong emotional IQ that way. There's a lot of leaders that don't have that. There's a lot of people that don't have that. And I didn't realize how many people don't have that.
Yeah.
But that's okay because again, it's like building your resiliency to things. So you practice, you can take that emotional IQ and change it and not be that misanthrope.
Yeah, because like if you change your mindset of how you're viewing somebody else, even if you know they're that way, but if you remove yourself from that negativity, you're not going to go down that rabbit hole of the misanthrope. Like you're going to be like, it's how they are. Like I'm me. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this to be this way. And they can just sit back there. And, you never know. Like that person may go, well, they didn't feed into it or they didn't, join me in this or whatever the case may be. And it, you could potentially also change somebody and their thought process too.
Hi, I'm Christy Lister. I'm a recovering misanthrope, but I am. I was very quick to react
Mhm.
and dislike life and the world and the way the wind blew because of so many misunderstandings of what was really happening over that
Oh,
25-year period. Plus, I mean, even into childhood, I mean, 50, 45 years of my life, I was in that mindset, not understanding, not ever taught to process properly or so much negative around me that I couldn't process properly. So you can get out of that.
mhm.
And hopefully you get out of that before you're on this side of something extremely tragic because you don't have to find that in yourself through tragedy.
Yeah,
You can create that in yourself
just because.
just because. And when you do that, people do catch on. It might not be everybody, right? It's like our
Right.
conversations. We're not going to save everybody, but somebody might grasp like, oh, that's kind of cool. They can do that because
Mhm.
I knew her when she looked like a Karen
Right.
standing outside. you know? Hi, I'm a recovering Karen.
But no, like because you when you see people change and you see them change for the better, like it makes you want to be better. I mean, if you're a, a thoughtful human being, if you put
Right.
thought into people's actions and their words, you'll you'll think like that. So like when you see somebody doing better, and I say doing better as not, like, oh, I'm doing better. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. But them actually doing it, it changes you because
Right.
as we've said a million times, you can hear and hear and hear and hear and hear all this. But if there's nothing to back it up, then you're literally swimming in bullshit.
Yeah. You
So
really
it
are.
makes you, and then it makes you a negative person. Like, I mean, like Ryan and I have talked, like, I've tried to be really positive over my boot camp because I'm just coming out of boot camp. This is week 6. And I've tried to be really positive about myself, but I feel like I've like failed myself this boot camp just because I haven't lost any inches.
He's saying boot, by the way.
Boot, not boob, not boob, no boob.
It's
Stop.
not boot.
Boot. Boot. It's that thing stuck in my throat still. Boot camp. But he's like, babe, stop. Like, you had a really, really hard 6 weeks. And he's like, and you're still standing and you're still going. Yes, you've stumbled and fallen, but
You got up.
you're still going. You're still, yeah. And it's like, damn, look at you being positive. All right, I guess I'll just be positive and I'll get up and go to the gym again tomorrow morning. But that's that effect, like, that you can
Yes.
have on somebody without even realizing you're doing it. Because I'm sure he didn't realize he was doing it. He was just being who he is. But it changed my mindset too. Like, okay, yeah, so what? I probably even gained inches, to be like 100% blatantly honest. This past week, 6 weeks has sucked big
Yes.
time. Had a lot of negative in my life. Again, staying in my home. I should probably do some voodoo stuff and like
Not voodoo. Don't do
sage.
voodoo.
Sage. I don't know.
Sage
Voodoo might need
cleanse.
probably need to do a cleanse. And then, just other things on top of that. Like it has been a very depressing 6 weeks. Very hard, very depressing.
But
But
you are handling it with strength and you are reaching out to people and talking to them when it's happening. And that's processing.
yep.
And
Yeah.
that's admirable.
Thanks. And I feel like, people walk into your lives in different moments, and I'm using this like as a positive thing too. Um, I talked about meeting a person here who lost her child by suicide, and we're hoping to have them on, so I just won't go
Yeah.
too much into detail. But we've chatted back and forth the last couple weeks, and they're still really inside the 2 years. It's only been there. I think it'll be 3 in April, if I'm remembering correctly. Um, and but I haven't talked to him in like a week. And this morning at the gym, and I had no idea that the wife worked out at my gym, but there's like a sheet where you can buy when you pick out a shirt or whatever for the gym, you just write your name on the clipboard, the piece of paper or the clipboard, and you
Yeah.
say what you bought, whatever. And like I bent over to get my keys and I was all, oh, look, she goes here. Like I've never seen her, but maybe she goes in the afternoon or in the mornings when I usually don't go. And so I reached out and he texted me back. He's like, and I just said it was a sign that I needed to reach out, like, and just say
Yes.
hi, like, see how you're going. And he went crazy because I was reading your text as she was walking in, showing me the shirt that she bought yesterday at the gym. And I'm like, okay, see, yep, it was a sign. Like, I needed to text you, check in on you, and you text me back and checked in on me, like, how's things going? Because they knows everything about like what is going on in my life too. But it's like that to me, that changed like how I feel for the day too. Like
Yes.
it's because it's a happiness thing, right? Like it's not that you have to feel like people care about you, but they understand.
It's showing you're not alone.
Yes, you're not alone. Yeah, exactly. You're not alone.
Because when you go through tough times you feel isolated and alone, not just sad times, but when you're going through a very stressful uh, situation, dealing with somebody in your life or an event, it can be so isolating.
So isolating. So
And
isolating.
and then you get laughy faces at 5:15 with no understanding.
And then you're like, okay, we're laughing. Oh, cool.
Okay.
He's
No, but you're not alone. You're not alone.
No, I was not alone. She was thinking of me so early in the morning.
What? You were like the first person I had to send it to.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, there's too much negative. There's too much ugliness that doesn't have to be. And when you as first responders are dealing with it, your families as first responders are dealing with it, we all need to work together to change that mindset and build the endurance, the resiliency inside and see the beauty that is out there. Mm-hmm. And take that deep breath, that energy management of, okay, I got this. Now I will respond.
Yeah, like exhale the negative, like inhale the positive, exhale the negative.
Yes.
And it's a little as taking a few deep breaths that you can change that mindset, change that wavelength that you were gonna go down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And take that, grasp that, and share it with somebody.